So before we actually get into the music video tutorial, just a quick shout to say that this video is sponsored on behalf of DistroKid. If you're an independent artist and you know that you want to get your music out to all of the major distribution platforms such as Spotify, Tidal Music, Apple Music for as cheap but efficiently as possible, then DistroKid will sort you out for that. I use them personally because they are cheap and I'm a cheap guy, so it works out well. But along with the cheapness, you also get the services that you need for your music, such as ensuring that you get 100% of your royalties. You can also upload your music to TikTok through there for free. We all know how everybody loves TikTok. Just for $20, you can upload unlimited singles and albums for the whole entire year. So if this is something that interests you, that you know you'd want to use, then please hit that link below. It will take you to DistroKid's website, which will ensure that you get the 7% exclusive discount there as well, which is a bit of a weird number, but it's a discount nonetheless. Once you've done this, it will free you up for the whole year, so you can release unlimited singles and albums till your heart is content. So, I know that you came here for a music vocal tutorial, that's exactly what I'm gonna give you, so thank you for sticking by, and let's get into the studio. Here we have a song that I've done previously a music video tutorial to. He's one of my good boys called ACTHEKiDFROMSPACE, that's his artist name, not his birth name. And we've made a song here that I've made the beat to, and he's done the vocals. Now, I figured it's simpler just to use this song because we've used it for anybody who's coming back and returning. They've got a good reference. If not, it's a very open song anyway, so it means the effects I'll be applying, you'll be able to hear clearly, and the difference that they make as well. So first thing that you're going to want to do is if you, in fact, let me just take all this off, show you I'm starting from scratch. Okay, so just strip the channels there. And we're just going to load up the actual mixing tab here. And then these are the two. These are the mains that we're going to do. So we're just going to put these together. So just highlight both sections by holding shift, right click, and then create track stack. And then put it as a summing stack. And now they're all together. So we can apply the effects just to one channel as opposed to having to apply it to two. So now that we've got the mains here, I'm just going to show you what it sounds like before we've done anything to it.
222, man, I just ignored all the signs. I don't understand what's going on with my mind. It's like every night, I'm just losing my mind, losing conscious in time. I can't just live alright.
Right, okay, so that's what it sounds like for now. I'm going to take off the layers, we will touch it up a bit later. But now what I'm just going to focus on is, as you can hear, there's quite a lot of bass in these vocals. So what we're going to do is we're just going to apply some EQ. Now, in one of my previous videos, I have broken down how to use this EQ in an effect that I call sweeping. I will provide the link for that if you want to check that out as well, and just further your progression in vocal mixing. But for now, what I'm just going to do is just show you exactly how to strip off the bass, but do it to an extent that doesn't actually limit the vocals frequencies so much that it sounds boxy. So what I'll do here is if you just put your analyzer on, which should already be automatically on, so let's just play the vocals by themselves.
222, man, I just ignored all the signs. I don't understand what's going on with my mind. It's like every night, I'm just losing my mind.
So we've got the frequencies here showing up.
I can't just live alright.
The bass is always around here. So what we're going to do is just raise up this level, this orange bar, to max. And we're going to bring this all the way down. Let me turn off that reverb. Alright, so now what I've done, all I've done there is I've just raised up this level here, this orange frequency band, and pulled down the top one all the way down until you can start hearing just the bass. So now what we've got is the bass is being accentuated, and we're just going to start raising this until we can start to hear a bit more of the mid frequencies to come in. Alright, here. How I gauge this is just for when you can actually start to hear a lot of the words rather than just mumbles. That's when I feel like you don't really want to cut that out. It's going to affect the vocals too much. So now, let's just make sure we've got the right level. I'd say around here. So I know around here is a good point to cut. So with that being said, what we're going to do is just take this down, bring up the bottom frequency band, and then just pull this right up until we get to that point. Make it a bit sharper. Alright, so we're just going to take off this. Listen to me. And then we're just going to play it now.
222, man, I just ignored all the signs. I don't understand what's going on.
Alright, so now we know that the bass is really hitting about 127 hertz. So you can just erase the rest, but this will really clean up the mix. So we're going to leave that here. Normally we would boost up a bit of the highs, but I'm not showing you that right now. This main part is to show you how to reduce the bass in the voice. And this EQing is a hard cut, but you're going to notice a massive difference when we play it with a song as well from what it was before, and I'll show that to you now.
222, man, I just ignored all the signs. I don't understand what's going on with my mind. It's like every night I'm just losing my mind, losing conscious in time. I can't just live alright. I don't 222, man.
Alright, so you should be able to hear the difference there. It's quite evident. It's taken off a lot of the bass, and it just leads to the frequencies becoming a lot cleaner in this area, the mid and highs. And also it means that the bass on the track can also come through a lot cleaner as well. So another thing that we can do, because I'm not finished yet, is if you just stick with me, what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be applying something called a multi-band compressor. Logic's version is called a multipressor. Okay, now what this does is it splits up the actual frequencies of the audio file. So here you can see you've got, this is a low end, and then it's got the mids, further mid end, and then it's got a top end here as well. You can actually edit these as well, so if you want a certain frequency to be just targeted, you can target it how you want by adjusting these barriers here. What this means is that you can further reduce any bass and also pump up any other volumes that you want that you can't really do individually through the EQ, because the EQ has it all as one band altogether. This is something that's got loads of separate bands. It just makes it a lot easier to deal with. So what we're going to do is we're going to play along with the actual song. We know that the vocals were hitting about 127 hertz. That's where the bass was really coming in, 127 hertz there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to double click on this and change that to 120 hertz. You can only go in figures of 10 with the multipressor. Okay, cool. So let's play it now.
222, man, I just ignored all the signs. I don't understand what's going on with my mind. It's like every night I'm just losing my mind, losing consciousness.
Okay, now if you click the solo button, now it's only playing this section. So let's just bringing it up. That's the bass, it's still there. So we're just going to take it off a bit. But you don't want to take too much off because it would sound too boxy. Okay. So now all we've done there is I've dropped the gain on here. What this basically means is that it's restricting the anything between 0 hertz to 120 hertz, oh sorry, 20 hertz, up until 120 hertz is now being restricted even more. It's further cutting out that bass. So now if you just put it together with the actual rest of the frequencies,
222, man, I just ignored all
we'll
the
bypass
signs.
that.
I don't understand what's going on with my mind. It's like every night I'm just losing my mind, losing conscious in time. I can't just live alright. I don't 222, man, I just ignored all the signs.
So it's completely your choice what you want to do with this. Some artists actually prefer the bass in the song. I know this artist AC does. He prefers the bass to add a bit of thickness, especially because the song's quite empty. So you might opt to actually increase the bass a bit slightly in the voice just to add that thickness. But it depends on your song. If you've got a lot of bass going off, you might choose to leave the bass out completely and restrict it further. I'm going to leave it about here. Okay. So now what you can also do is you can add some compression to it, which is what the multipressor is great for. And why it's called a multipressor, because you can also compress as well as actually adjust the frequencies. So to do that, what you need to do is we'll play along.
222, man, I just ignored all
This is the compression threshold. If I bring this down,
just losing my mind.
Just pay attention to this bar around here.
I can't just live alright. I don't 222, man, I just ignored all the signs.
Alright, now the compression's kicking in.
It's like every night I'm just losing my mind, losing conscious in time. I can't just
See, what you want to bear in mind is we don't want that kicking in too much because it would restrict the vocals too much. But you can use this if you've already got a compressor on there, but you recognize some of the levels are just popping out a bit too much. Might be the bass here, might be the mids. Then you can use this just to target that a lot more accurately. So it's just worth bearing that in mind. If you want to combine this with a compressor or with an EQ, you can do this, and it can lead to very clean sounding vocals as well. And then you can always go across and solo each region here in the multipressor.
222, man, I just ignored all the signs. I don't understand what's going on with my mind. It's like every night I'm just losing my mind, losing conscious in time. I can't just live alright. I don't 222, man, I just
One tip to remember with this is when it comes to actually doing this, don't just use your headphones. Your headphones will cut out a lot of the bass anyway. They're great for some mixes, but you need to make sure you're combining that with speakers as well. What we're going to look at next is the layers. Now, what I want to look at now is just how to actually make these sound less clashy. So I've chosen this part of a song because there's some good layers in here that mix and they kind of sound a bit clashy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to include them back in, and I'm going to play it along, and then you guys can just have a listen. Okay, let's play that.
222, man, I just ignored all the signs. I don't understand what's going on with my mind. It's like every night I'm just losing my mind, losing conscious in time. I can't just live alright.
Alright, cool. So you can already hear it clashes a lot. It's meant to be layers, so it's meant to play along with the actual vocals, but how can we actually stop it from clashing and thus sounding more like an ad-lib? That's the effect that we want to achieve here. So what I'm going to do to actually do that is I've already got the EQ set here, which is something that I've used for this artist. It's just chopping out a lot of the bass. You can see I've already chopped out around the same region as before, and also the mids and highs have already been boosted. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add something called a sample delay. Okay, what this does is it takes a sample of a sound and it passes it to a channel that you want to pass it to. For example, you can pass that sample towards the right channel and it will spread it. It's almost like panning, a similar sort of effect. But what I'm going to do is just play it along without it, and then I'll show you what it's like added to it as well. So let's play it without the sample delay.
222, man, I just ignored all the signs.
And we're going to pan it a bit to the right channel.
It's like every night I'm just losing my mind, losing conscious in time. I can't just live alright. I don't 222, man.
Alright, so you can already see it's panning now to the side of your speakers or your headset. What you can do now though is just drop the volume a lot, because you don't need them. You don't want the layers or the ad-libs actually popping at the same volume as the vocals or the main vocals. We just want to be complementing it, so we're going to drop that down a bit.
222, man, I just ignored all the signs. I don't understand what's going on with my mind. It's like
Alright, cool. So that's already sounding a lot better. What you can bear in mind as well is what I like to do with the ad-libs is I like to chop off a lot more of the bass and leave it with just the high end. So that's what we're going to do here. Let's play it.
222, man, I just ignored all the signs. I don't understand what's going on with my mind. It's like every night I'm just losing my mind, losing conscious in time. I can't just live alright. I don't 222, man, I just ignored all the signs. I don't understand what's going on with my mind. It's like every night I'm just losing my mind.
Alright, cool. I've just added a bit of reverb through this bus channel that we've got set up here, which is automatically done. It's a large reverb on there. And then that's already sounding a lot cleaner. So here we've already got 3 tips that you can actually include just to make sure that your vocals are going to be a lot cleaner. This is something that you can apply to every single track you do. And then all it's going to mean with you doing is applying a bit of compression. And then that's pretty much about it. Any other effects you want, you can do yourself as well.